Throughout the creation of our final products, me and my group use media technologies in order to edit, research, discuss and share ideas as well as learn new things. Blogger. I consistently use Blogger to showcase what new things I learn in terms of theorists, posters, trailers, magazines, the horror industry and more, in terms of conventions and beliefs. This was useful in terms of storing all our ideas and any progress we made on our blogs, so that if we needed to refer back to it in the future posts, we could easily go back to past posts. Hotmail and Outlook. Me, Priscilla and Afreen would communicate through email in order to inform each other of any ideas we had come up with, or to remind a member to complete aspects of planning, e.g. storyboards and shot lists. This was particularly useful in the week we started filming, as we would remind each other to bring props, clothes, makeup. It enabled us to be more organised as well as maintain a sense of cohesion within our group. Google and IMDb. Google and IMDb both provided information on directors, dates, how successful films were at the time, and actors and actresses, which surrounded specific horror films we researched. This was perfect at the pre-production stage of our course, when we were learning about representations, aspects of genre, narrative, sound and media language which surround the horror film industry. YouTube. Me and my fellow teammates consistently used YouTube before and after the filming process. This was in order to gain a sense of the conventions within horror trailers through sound, characters, location, iconography and narrative and structure of trailers, e.g. what duration did the build-up and the climax occur within the trailer. We also use YouTube to upload videos in terms of updates on our blog, which we uploaded to our blog and which we also uploaded our final trailer. I also use YouTube in order to learn how to create animations and effects on text using After Effects. YouTube is perfect when you are trying to learn how to do specific effects, which in result can strengthen your piece, in terms of the fact that we use the block dissolve effect on the text at the end of a trailer, and it reinforces Flora's sanity. This is the converters, so we use video and sound converters. And in order to download creepy intention building music for our trailer, as an editor I often had to go on YouTube and copy the URL and convert it to an MP3 through using URL to mp3.com. This was extremely useful as it was quick and it enabled us to use music to evoke different reactions from our audience, such as fear, shock and surprise. In terms of converters, we also used a video converter called keepvid.com, which allowed us to download high quality versions of Lionsgate Twisted Pictures opening and the green screen to maintain a realistic feel within our trailer, as they are conventions which the audience often expects to see. So then we have the example of me using Tumblr to make my blog look more exciting, and then how we used our font, and also Vuckaroo to make my blog more appealing and different from the norm. So Photoshop. Photoshop was a very important part of our course. It enabled us to edit and change the colour of text which featured on our trailer, poster and magazine. We often cropped fonts from Darfont, and Photoshop enabled us to successfully align text, as well as use readable fonts to feature on our magazine and poster to maintain a coherence. So there was Accord SF, which is on the magazine, and Jill Sands MT, which is the slogan on the poster, which was previously Egyptian 710 BT, and the TWCEN MT font for the Empire quote on poster. We also use Photoshop to maintain images and use brushes. To manipulate images and use brushes, e.g. the crack effect, which was downloaded from visionwidget.com. I trialled other distorted effects brushes from brusheasy.com. This was vital in terms of conveying to the audience that Flora has two sides to her. Even though we did not shift Flora's body to the side on our final poster due to it looking odd, originally Priscilla used two layers on Photoshop which both contained the same image of Flora in order to create the illusion that Flora had been cut in half. This shows how useful Photoshop has been for us, even when effects and manipulation didn't go as planned. So as you can see above, there's when Priscilla was editing the text and using the paint bucket tool to dye it to the specific colour red that we wanted. And as you can see, this is how this crack looked previously before we changed it. And then change the background to black so that it can be put at the end of our trailer. And I'm going to talk about cameras next. And cameras enabled us to gain images of Flora for both the poster, magazine, as well as document our props, items, locations and clothes, which contributed to the creation of our ancillary products onto our blogs. It was particularly useful for the pre-production stages. This was specifically with our final image of Flora for our final magazine, as we used lighting in order to reinforce her good and bad qualities, one side with shadow, the other bright. And this was through lighting, as I previously said. It also enabled us to follow the conventions represented within both Real Horror posters and Empire magazines, making our products easy for our audiences to engage with due to elements of familiarity, so like through the use of a mid-shot, which individuals often expect to see on magazine covers. So in terms of a camcorder, using a camcorder allowed us to film for our trailer but also do vlogs on progress we had made throughout our course. For example, after our final premiere, me and Priscilla did a vlog on the audience feedback sheets, so these were the questionnaires which we had received, and summarised what went well and what we think we could do better. When filming for our final trailer, we switched from using a tripod, which was better for more slow and still shots, and handheld, which was perfect for creating a sense of urgency. We also used a variety of shots and angles, including long shots, wide shots, extreme close-up shots, point of view shots and more. Using a camcorder enabled us to be creative throughout the construction and planning part of our course. iMovie and Adobe After Effects. iMovie is an editing software which included text templates which reinforced the horror genre far more in comparison to the text within Premiere and After Effects. As you can see above is the sort of animated hell-looking origin background, which we all agreed connoted our narrative and reinforced that element of fear that we wanted to portray to the audience. Originally, we used After Effects for text in between our trailer. However, it was unsuccessful due to the amateur vibe it gave off due to the chunky and grainy font, despite the interesting crack effect, as you can see to the right. This then meant we ended up using iMovie as it was easier to use, but also appeared more intriguing and mysterious, which was a sense of enigma we wanted to create to make our audience want to find out more. We did, however, use After Effects for ending credits for our trailer, as the blind effect and readable font was exactly what we as a group wanted. Adobe Premiere. Premiere was particularly useful in terms of binding all our different shots as well as music, transitions and text we created in After Effects and iMovie to make our final trailer, because even though we didn't really like After Effects, we used it successfully for the credits, as I previously mentioned with the use of a block dissolve. One of the main skills I learnt this year from editing using Adobe Premiere was how useful different levels of sound are, as I constantly use the sound nodules in order to increase and decrease sound at certain times. E.g., I made sure to make the airy and jarring music fade in order to build tension slowly, thus making it more uncomfortable for the audience. Audacity. Audacity is a sound recording program which allowed us to record voiceovers which be included in our trailer. E.g., when Flora says, "My doll is my only reminder of my father." Not only did this allow us to portray conventional elements of sound used in trailers, but it also allowed us to communicate our narrative to our audience without revealing too much.